Hello, sports world. This is Mike on the mic, coming with you today with a little podcast. Today, what I want to talk about is for you that didn't get to see it, the end of the race Sunday at Phoenix. I'm sure for you race fans, you got to see it, and it was very entertaining. For the ones that didn't, I'm sure you've heard about it already, though, on SportsCenter and stuff like that. But I want to talk a little bit about it because I actually did get to see it and what I interpreted out of the whole thing, and also what I found out as far as what's come down with the suspensions and stuff, and also what I thought about it, period. For you ones that did not get to see it, Jeff Gordon was running hard with Clint Boyer. I think it was somewhere 5th, 6th, or 7th, somewhere in that area. Coming out of turn 2, going down the back stretch, Clint Boyer came up a little bit and got into Gordon. Gordon took offense to it and tried to get back at him, and going into turn 3, and as he did, he lost a little bit of control and got out and hit the wall. Drove around for about a lap, maybe 2, waited on Clint Boyer, and as Clint Boyer was coming back around, Gordon come up into the bottom lane in front of Boyer, and as Boyer tried to go low, Gordon just turned left and turned them both into the wall, and also collected Joey Gano, and Eric Almirola was also in it. How I interpret it is, Jeff Gordon, this is not the first run-in he's had with Clint Boyer this year. They had a run-in at Martinsville. Him and Jimmy Johnson did not come in and get tires on the green-white checker, and they had like 80 or 90 laps on their tires. Everybody else came and got tires. On the restart, Clint Boyer dived down into turn 1 and made it 3 wide and wrecked quite a few cars, taking Gordon and Jimmy Johnson both out of the equation, and himself as far as winning it. Ryan Newman went on to win the race. So they had a little brush up there. Didn't really get to see the brush up at Texas last week, but I heard they had a little bit of a brush up there, so I can't really comment on that one. But I know they've had a couple other run-ins along the way this year, and basically Gordon just come out and said that he was fed up with it, and he took up for himself, and therefore he intentionally wrecked Clint Boyer. Me personally, I do not have a problem with Jeff Gordon taking up for himself in that aspect. I think every driver, no matter how long you've been out there or how many times you've won a championship, and I know that was something a lot of people were saying, he was a 4-time champion, he should conduct himself a little bit different. But my beef with the whole ordeal is I do not like race car drivers using their cars to take out their frustration. Because you got the guys back at the shop that work 12, 13, 14 hours a day working on those cars. You got sponsors that pump the money in it, and especially with the way the economy is, and just to go out there and take it out with the cars and tear up equipment. I don't see that. I mean, I understand, that in the heat of the moment we've all been there and we've done something we regret later on, but I know cars are used as weapons more days now than they used to be in the old days. In the old days, they'd get out and they'd just fight for like Daytona. For the people that remember Bobby Allison and Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison getting into it. And also, we've seen Jeff Gordon get into it with Matt Kenseth at Bristol when he shoved him. We've seen Kevin Harvick get into it with Greg Biffle and so forth and so on. But it seems like nowadays cars are used more to take out their anger. And I just wish there was another way. I'm not saying that Jeff Gordon wanted to fight Clint Boyer, and I'm not saying that if he did, he would win or he would lose. I don't know how that would go, but, I just wish NASCAR and drivers could find a way to not use their cars, me personally, because like I said, all the time and effort that the guys back at the shop put into the cars and getting them prepared as much as they're away from their families. But, being competitive as I've always been, I mean, I see in the heat of the moment, the heat of the battle, where he comes from. I just wish we could find a different way to do it. As far as how we could do it, how NASCAR could do it, I don't know. And like I said, that's really the only problem I have with Jeff Gordon on the whole ordeal. I'm not saying he was in the wrong or he was in the right. As far as retaliation, I just don't like the way he retaliated. But, he did, and that's that. As far as what I found out today, Jeff Gordon will not be suspended. He's put on probation till the end of the year, which is not that big of a deal because they only have one more race. But he was docked 25 owner points. He was fined $100,000. He was docked 25 driver points, fined $100,000. Also fined was Brian Patty, Clint Boyer's crew chief. I believe his was more for the language that he used. Rick Kendrick and Alan Gustafson was also fined $25,000 apiece. Rick Kendrick was also docked 25 owner points. Not so sure why they were fined. Didn't get a link on that, but as far as what NASCAR had gave as a reason why they fined Alan Gustafson and Rick Kendrick and so forth on that. But this is what they had released today, NASCAR, saying that they had done. So I'm assuming with this coming out, Clint Boyer's probably not going to be fined anything, even though I know he did park his car on pit road and get back and run back after the brawl between the crews during the melee after the wreck, because, tensions were high and, it escalated in the pit area between the crews, and like I said, Boyer ran back there, but NASCAR, I'm assuming, is not going to fine him for participating in that, which he really didn't do anything by the time he had got back there. They pretty much had the situation under control. I do hate it for Clint Boyer in a sense, though, because I don't think he would have won the championship. He needed some help. Jimmy Johnson did have a bad day at at Phoenix, and, finished 32nd, I believe it was. But Brad Keselowski was going to finish in the top 10 anyway, so he really wouldn't have gained that many points, so he was really going to need some help to win the championship. But I do hate it in the sense it probably is going to cost him third or fourth in the chase, depending on how it would have went getting to Homestead, so it's going to cost him a little bit of money. But it's, he had run pretty good this year. I'm not a big Clint Boyer fan, but he had won 3 races this year and done a good job, and looked like he was going to finish in the top 3 in the points and have a pretty good year. So I hate it on that aspect for him. Like I said, even though I'm not a big Boyer fan. So that's just what my opinion on it, how I see it. You can give me feedback, comment, let me know what you think, if you agree or if you disagree, or if you have another idea or a side that you see that I didn't see or whatnot. And you can follow us on Twitter, Sports Blogcast, or you can follow us at facebook.com/sportsblogcast. Hope we hear from you and interact with us and let us know what you think about this podcast. Until next time, play hard, live hard, God bless.